We are so fortunate to live and work and learn and play in Arvada with all of the exciting things happening. And our keynote presenter today is our very own Mayor, Marc Williams. Mayor Williams was first elected as council member at large in November of 1999 and was re-elected twice to that seat. He was first elected mayor of November in November of 2011 and re-elected in November of 2015. His involvement in our community began in 1979 when he was hired by the law firm of Sondheim and Helm as a second-year law clerk while attending the University of Colorado Law School. Nice work. Prior to his city service, Mayor Williams served as president of the Northwest Metro Chamber of Commerce and the First Judicial District Bar Association, and as a trustee for 10 years on the Jefferson County Library Board, serving 2 years as its chair. As an elected official, Mayor Williams has been active at the local, regional, state, and national level. He was a founding director of the Arvada Dare Foundation, has served on the Arvada Economic Development Association Board, the Jeffco EDC Board, and the First Judicial District Community Corrections Board. He was elected to the executive board of the Colorado Municipal League in 2006, 8, and 10, and served as president of the CML in 2013 and 14. He also served on the National League of Cities Policy Committee for Transportation and Infrastructure, along with the First Tier Suburbs Committee. Marc was voted 2011 Elected Official of the Year by the Jefferson County Economic Development Corporation, and in 2014 he received the Chairman's Award from the Arvada Chamber of Commerce. Would you please join me in welcoming my friend, my mayor, Marc Williams, to the stage for his State of the City address.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Arvada. We got to cut down that intro. It's getting a little long. Sorry, I forgot I was mic'd up when I made my comments about the great University of Colorado. Some people claim I don't need a microphone, but we'll use one today. You know, I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for holding this forum on an annual basis. And I think it's so terrific that they've invited students to be with us today so that they can hear what you all know, but what you want to hear as well. What is the state of the city of Arvada? I also want to thank the best doggone city council in this state and perhaps in the nation. I kid you not, when I get together with my other mayors and I hear the stories they tell about some discord that sometimes goes on in their city councils. I'm not going to refer to Westminster. When I hear some of their discord, and I look at how our city council all pulls together constantly on issues, and even when we disagree agreeably. If only we could have that at the state and the national level. We'd love to do that. I want to thank all of you who are in this room for what you do to make Arvada such a special community. The vibrancy of your involvement, the volunteerism, your professionalism, your businesses, the fabric that we have in this community is second to none, and I thank you for that. And most of all, I want to thank my wife, Luann. This gets tough sometimes, you know? She's a special lady. She is by me every day. She's my rock. She's my best advisor. She can be my harshest critic when it's appropriate, but she has been there for me for the last 22 years as husband and wife, and she means so very much. You know, a year ago, I was scheduled to present the 2018 State of the City, and I lost my dad. I lost my dad a year ago, 2 days ago. And so we were very fortunate that Mayor Pro Tem John Marriott was able to pinch hit for me, and I hear he did an excellent job. I've watched it. Frankly, he did too good of a job. And some of you will remember, going back in time, to my 2016 State of the City speech, in which I said, "Can you hear it? and we had a train horn, and we were all excited. And wasn't that cool? We were going to have a train, and then in 2017, we had the giraffe, April, because she was pregnant. And was she ever going to give birth? She's now had another giraffe since that time. 3 years later, and way too many horn blows later, the horn blows stopped today. And next week, next Friday and Saturday, we will celebrate the opening of the G line. That's great news. In addition to Shelley's work coming on board, we have to recognize Lorraine Anderson, who I know is very disappointed that we didn't get it open during her tenure, but her work over the past years on this has been truly priceless. Thank you, Lorraine Anderson. And I want to thank the citizens of Arvada who answered my call to action. Some of you were at the RTD open house where I blew a gasket and was not very happy about the delays that were happening. So I called upon our citizens to contact the Colorado Public Utilities Commission and the Federal Railway Administration. And we posted their email addresses and their phone numbers, and you all contacted them. And you helped break the logjam of the bureaucracy and the rulemaking that was keeping testing from happening, which was causing the delays. I thank you all for engaging in your community in that and helping us break that logjam and get this moving forward. And then finally on this topic, I want to thank all of the citizens and the businesses who have had to put up with the construction, the noise, the frustration of getting this train open. Fortunately, it's sort of like birthing pains from what I understand, that indeed you're going to forget about the pain and you're going to enjoy the benefits that the G line is going to provide us for years and years to come. Now today I'm not just asking about hearing train horns. I want to know if you hear something else. And that's something else that I'm hoping you're hearing as your city council and I do, is all of our community members speaking loudly and clearly about what you want to see in this community. Through your hard work, your dedication, your activities, you're speaking volumes to us about what makes life special in this very special community that we call Arvada. Now, each year, your city council works with the city team to take a high-level look at what our progress is in reaching our strategic goals and planning for the next decade. Now, let me tell you why we call it team. So Dot Miller got elected to city council. And Dot Miller said, why do we keep calling them staff? That sounds like some sort of infection. So instead of having a staff infection, we have a commitment to our team. We began a visioning project to listen to the community's priorities, unique perspectives, and common values. We launched the online engagement platform, Speak Up Arvada, and held community events, including a well-attended open house in January. When staff first brought us this idea, it was called, because of some national group or whatever, Bang on the Table. I said, I don't want to bang on the table. I want people to be able to speak up. We're not about banging. We're about listening. We're talking about speaking. So that's what this is going to be called. With valuable citizen feedback and input from our world-class city staff, teammates, we have developed a strategy to navigate both prosperity and upcoming challenges in ways that maintain our small town great feel that we have, while embracing the opportunities of new residents and smart growth. We have, as a city council, adopted 5 priorities. They are safe communities, infrastructure, community and economic development, vibrant communities and neighborhoods, and organizational and service effectiveness. These 5 priorities, inspired by our community input, has helped your council and our team focus on what is truly most important to Arvada's success. Now today I'm going to highlight some of the results we have achieved working together to support city priorities and some of the challenges and opportunities that will require continued commitment and the input from all of you so that we can achieve our shared vision for Arvada. Let me begin with the importance of having a safe community. Unfortunately, we saw this week what threats are out there for our schools and for all of us, and that's very troubling. And we listened and fully agree with the responses from our most recent community survey, which told us loud and clear that you view providing a safe community as the number one function of the city, and I certainly agree. I'm so very proud of our exceptional police department that maintains highly trained and very professional public service and safety professionals that work so tirelessly for our community. You may have heard recently that we had an officer and a citizen who were ambushed by a chemical bomb. Those kinds of dangers are out there even in Arvada. I'm pleased to report that our officer and that citizen are doing okay, and we hope for their long-term health as we move forward. Now, our police department, when we look at it, we look at as we see it every day, but we got to see it in a different light as a Super Bowl commercial showed us. Let's look at that again.
Day in and day out, law enforcement officers do a tremendous job, often putting everything on the line to help keep our communities safe. Your local Ford stores are proud to support the mission of Shield 616 by funding 17 full armor packages to the men and women of the Arvada Police Department. With safety as Ford's first priority, we're doing our part to provide the best, most effective protective gear to the officers who do so much for all of us.
Let's hear it for our officers. Our police department provided City Council information that our northwest area was having some difficulty in terms of response times and being able to be community engaged as they would like to be. Council responded by approving funding for the Delta Sector's Whisper Creek Community Station, which will open next month. What we've done with our community stations is we've used the same blueprint for them so that we're not spending extra money having to redevelop each of these community stations, and they've been funded without tax increase by using a portion of the tax that our citizens approved years ago for police protection. It's been well used. So we're going to have that station up and running while we continue to maintain good police service throughout our great city. Now, we rely upon those officers every day, and we want to make sure we recruit and retain the best, and we're working diligently to be able to do that. Now, although I am pleased to report that Arvada continues to have one of the lowest crime rates for cities our size in the entire nation, even in Arvada, crime is an issue, and we can't ignore it. In 2018, our police department made more than 4,200 criminal arrests. You don't think that that's happening in our community, but it is, and we have to recognize and deal with it. And our police department and our city and all of us are dealing with a challenge to our community that we have to talk about. Now, those of you who know me know that I'm kind of a light and breezy kind of guy, but there are times when there are serious topics that require serious discussion. I make fun of myself, but when it's time to get serious, we have to get serious. Your council and our team have heard loud and clear from our neighbors, our local businesses, and of all of us of the significant challenge homelessness and accompanying dependency and mental health issues posed to the community. We're certainly not alone. We see it throughout the metro area. In fact, we see it around the country. In 2005, our police department responded to 118 police calls related to homelessness and vagrancy. By 2017, that number grew to 1,132. Last year, that number nearly doubled to 2,037. It's a problem. We have to address it. We see panhandling, which the Supreme Court says we can't stop. It's free speech. We see camping in public spaces, unsanitary conditions, and accumulation of trash and debris in public areas. We recognize that there are human impacts as well, such as domestic violence, trauma suffered by children, and substance abuse. I urge you to watch a YouTube video. Seattle is dying. Many of you have heard of it. If you haven't, pull it up and watch it. It's about an hour. It takes a while, but it's a worthwhile hour. We do not want to become Seattle, and not just because of the Seahawks. Now, Luann and I were recently enjoying a trip to San Antonio. Now, I'm not crazy about the Spurs, especially after last night, but it's a beautiful city. They've got an incredible river walk, and in 3 days, Luann and I saw one homeless person. And I got out of the area of that core downtown, which reminds me of Old Town, where we have an issue, where I saw one homeless person. I got further out along the rivers. Again, no homeless. There are ways. San Antonio's doing it, and we can too, to address the issue. And it's up to us, our partners, including neighboring cities, to do so. I thank this Chamber of Commerce for looking at this issue very seriously and for hosting the March 2019 Community Impact Discussion about homelessness. Our city team is part of that ongoing discussion, and we're collaborating with local nonprofits and faith-based organizations on best practices and also on what not to do. Your council has directed that significant additional resources be devoted to address homelessness from a law enforcement standpoint, including assigning a dedicated officer as our homelessness liaison as part of our community response impact team. But that's not enough. Therefore, we are forming a homeless outreach team to conduct outreach to homeless individuals, connect them to needed resources, and unlike Seattle, enforcing city laws when they are being broken. In conjunction with other Jefferson County cities, we're developing a navigator program with the intent to connect homeless individuals with services similar to what's being done in San Antonio. We have all put too much time, energy, and resources into our neighborhoods, our parks, our trails, our entranceways, and even Old Town Arvada to have certain individuals make it an unpleasant place to visit. I want Arvada to be safe and inviting for our individuals and our families, and we can do it. Now let me drop my Debbie Downer and put back on, as Luann likes to say, my funster attitude, and let me move on to a happier topic. Part of achieving a vibrant community is recognizing and supporting the important role health and recreation play in our lives. 2018 was a busy year for us. We added trail segments to Leiden Creek and Barber Gulch trails, and 2 neighborhood parks were renovated. Through our great partnership with the Apex Park and Recreation District, we opened the Fitzmaurice Recreation Center. And boy, what a grand opening it was. We cut a ribbon, and then some of us did a cannonball. And oh, by the way, yes, I had on a white dinner jacket when I did my cannonball into that great pool at Fitzmaurice Recreation Center. Thanks to the folks at Fitzmaurice Recreation Center, and specifically the Apex Park and Recreation District, for what they do for us every day. Through our activities with that, we also are proud that we completed the renovation of the Westwoods and Lake Arbor clubhouses. Golf Magazine featured Westwoods in its one of its issues and awarded the club second place in the Clubhouses of the Year rankings for public renovation. Plus, the restaurant received that magazine's Golden Fork Award. If you've not been out to Westwoods recently, get out there. The restaurant's terrific. What I really like is being able to see the incredible views, and some evening join Luann and I as we sit around the fire pit enjoying one of those incredible Arvada sunsets. It's a great venue. I urge you to get out there. You've asked us for opportunities to strengthen our neighborhood connections and culture, and we responded by adopting the Arts and Culture Master Plan, ensuring Arvada continues to be a thriving place where people can enjoy the arts. We have an incredible Arvada Center for the Performing Arts, and in addition to that, we're doing programs such as Neighbors Connected, which continues to connect neighbors with resources and opportunities like the Block Party Trailer and neighborhood movies that help these residents develop sustainable neighborhood groups and strengthen their own communities. 2019 marks the 100th anniversary of Mrs. Clemency McElvoy's gift of what has become McElvoy Park. So, like we like to do in Arvada, we're going to have a party. Please join us on May the 4th as we celebrate our community's 100 years of support of outdoor spaces as cultural, recreational, and civic centers. Now, I understand we've got a little video to show what we think of our parks and about the neighborhood engagement that's been going on in our community.
Park review! Bye, kids! Sister, where are we? We're at Rainbow East Park! Rainbow East Playground is getting redone! This playground can use some TLC! What does TLC mean, sister? The city of Arvada checks playgrounds around the city for accessibility and other important safety factors. It's part of the city's Taking Lasting Care program. The neighborhood was able to vote for their favorite design. The design everyone wants most will be built in the fall. Rainbow East Park is located at 81st and Yarrow Street. It's Arvada's Park's birthday!
They're much better than I am. In 2019, you should never follow kids and animals, right? In 2019, we're also beginning work along with Apex in the school district with the goal of replacing the Myers swimming pool, which has gone way past its useful life. We're listening and will continue to listen to citizen input for this new aquatic facility. Another area of maintaining and growing a vibrant community where we're hearing from all of you is the need to improve access to quality housing that is affordable with a broad range of income levels. I hear from the business community that we need workforce housing. Now, I'm hearing from some of you who will remain nameless that you want to get your adult children out of your basements. I look to the board of the Arvada Urban Renewal Authority and our team at the city who are working on projects for workforce housing, senior housing, and potentially micro-housing. Stay tuned. A vibrant community is a more sustainable one, and this is an interesting issue. In 2019, we will see if there are ways to organize waste hauling in our community to reduce costs, wear and tear on our streets, and pollution, while offering more options for recycling and other services. Now, having lived through this discussion in 2011, and still having some battle scars to show for it, I know that there are a lot of perspectives on waste hauling. In the 2017 Citizen Survey, 2/3 of the respondents indicated they supported the idea of an organized trash hauling and recycling system. But I know that there are other views as well. Our Sustainability Committee has done a lot of research, and your council has directed the city to engage with the community, identify and research options and costs, and later this year, the council will do one of two things, or one of three or four things. We're going to make some decisions, and one of those decisions might be to go to a different kind of trash hauling system, or another decision would be to leave things the way they are, or another decision would be, let's hear what the citizens say and put the issue to a vote of our citizens. Again, stay tuned. Now let me turn to infrastructure. This community voices its desire and support for good infrastructure systems. The backbone of our city is our streets, our sidewalks, our water system, our wastewater, stormwater facilities, which is why this council continues to make infrastructure a strategic priority. Arvada continues to plan ahead to meet future water demands, looking to ways to improve resources, including conservation programs, water budgets, and proactively managing water rates. Now, Mr. Devon tells me that we're not going to have to conserve water this year, but I still think water conservation is important, and so that's why I'm going to again this year ask that you shower with a friend. Luann wishes I would dump that from my speech each year, but We continue to work with Denver Water on the expansion of Gross Reservoir to secure 3,000 acre-feet of water that will help us meet our goal of having 100% of the water we need when Arvada is fully developed. Now, we hear frequently from you complaining about our roads and traffic. We're addressing a number of road projects that will help our transportation system be safer and operate more efficiently. This city council, under Mark Devon and under our great team, has really dramatically increased how much money we're putting into our roads on an annual basis. A few years ago, we were putting about $3 million a year. We're currently putting $10 million a year into our roads, but that's not enough. Projections show that, in fact, we ought to be doing about $20 million a year in our roads, and we're going to try to move towards that direction. We did celebrate the completion of the intersection at West 55th and Kipling, which now provides access to Red Rocks Community College. It also provides access to the Aura project, the Gateway Apartments, which has had its ribbon cutting here a couple of weeks ago, a beautiful facility right there at Kipling and Ridge Road. And we also have this roadway so that it really serves well as a drop-off for the people who are going to be riding the Gold Line. The intersection at 72nd Indiana has been a bottleneck for years. And with due respect to my favorite CDOT employee, Mr. Bob Pfeiffer from City Council, CDOT didn't really step up when it came time to deal with the issues at 72nd and Indiana. That's probably because it had a price tag of $7 million. Your City Council cobbled together the money, again, without increasing taxes, to be able to address that intersection, to relieve that bottleneck, and it's going to open this May. Thanks to you as voters and the overwhelming support of 3F, we're moving forward with two very important projects. The first being Ralston Road, the widening of Ralston Road, the widening of sidewalks for safety, for better movement through that key corridor of our community is going to be taken up this summer. And also because of your support of 3F, we are going to begin work on the 72nd Avenue project, which is a key project from Sims to Kipling, including that all-important grade separation for the train there, so that our police, our fire, our ambulances, and all of us driving can get through that part of our town efficiently. Luann and I drove that way this morning, and I'm thinking, boy, I sure hope a train doesn't slow us down, because it happens way too often. Now, we also need to address traffic on a regional level, because we want regional traffic off of our local streets. And that's why this city council and me in person, in particular, have been very supportive of the completion of the Jefferson Parkway. This portion of the Beltway is so very important to our community to be able to get that regional traffic off of our local streets. We have 3 contractors who are willing to bid on this project, who are anxious to respond to a request for proposal that will be going out in the next month or so. That proposal is going to require the bidders to look at mitigation to address sound, to be able to address safety, and to be able to put the best possible project forward. But the fact that the business community wants to get this road built shows that there is indeed a need, and we look forward to getting that moving forward. Now, getting around is certainly about more than just driving your car. Luann and I like to ride our tandem bike. We're big believers in bikes, and we've got a little video about bikes.
We all have to share the road, and the City of Arvada plans to make it even safer for cyclists.
Essentially, it is meant to be able to serve the public ages 8 to 80.
Look for more detection zones. When you roll over that symbol, it sends a signal to request a green light. In the bike lanes, you'll see arrows to keep you in the right direction. And more shared lanes where cars and riders can coexist when a bike lane isn't available.
We've got a full set of Allen wrenches.
And have you seen the yellow repair stations around town with all the tools you need for a quick safety tune-up? It's all part of Arvada's bike blueprint for the future. So get out and bike it.
Through partnerships with the school district and the Arvada Fire Protection District, we continue to achieve the goals set forth in our fiber master plan. To date, 33 miles of conduit are in place to accommodate fiber optics, which will provide the infrastructure for future smart city initiatives through connections to schools, fire stations, and city facilities and assets such as traffic signals. We continue to make progress in another of the City Council's priorities, community and economic development. We have listened to the developers and community members alike who seek a simpler, more streamlined land development code. We are more than halfway through a project called Advance Arvada, which is a comprehensive update to our land development code, which will be more user-friendly for all parties. Now, our Arvada Economic Development Association, and I know that there are some members here, continues its tradition and heritage of making wise investments in commercial, transportation, and economic products and services in Arvada. I want to thank the business community for what you do. You have a great partner in the Arvada Economic Development Association, and we have something on that. Let me tell you just how important AIDA is to us. In 2016, AIDA invested $397,000 in funding to 54 different projects. Those projects yielded $260 million in new capital investment, created or retained over 130 jobs, and generated over $2.5 million in new tax revenues. That's quite a return on investment. At the same time, the Arvada Urban Renewal Authority continues to revitalize blighted and underutilized areas. We're seeing the successes of projects like the shops at Ralston Creek North, Solana, Gateway Apartments, and we look forward to advancing other projects like the Old Town Residences and future mixed-use projects in their project areas. Let me talk a little bit about that Arvada Old Town Residences project. We recently were involved in a lawsuit. I want to congratulate Chris Daly and his team for properly advising City Council on how to move forward with that process so that we could conduct fair hearings. Regardless, the case was taken to the district court by some folks. And the district court ruled, again with the able assistance of Mr. Daly and his team, that indeed the city had followed the proper procedures in approving that project. And I want to thank our city attorney's office for their hard work in that arena. At the same time, we've all heard about the $30 land deal, and that's been sort of something that I get asked about frequently. It's something that people kid with me about, and some people ridicule us about. But in fact, let me tell you about the so-called $30 land deal. Indeed, that is a over $80 million private investment in our community. It's going to mean $2.8 million a year spent by these residents in our community. And it's going to mean over $8.5 million to the city just during the remaining urban renewal time. Frankly, I think it was a wise investment, and it's moving forward. Overall, this work is resulting in continued growth and strong economy for the city. In 2018, the business community added nearly 900 jobs to the Arvada workforce by new businesses in urban centers and targeted industries. There are some signs that the economy is cooling off some, and we are paying attention. We look at unemployment rates. We remain below the viewed full employment unemployment rate of 4%. We're at 3.5%. In 2018, we saw revenue growth for the city, but it's slowing down a bit, which brings us to Council's fifth priority, organizational and service effectiveness. This community expects and deserves a well-managed, fiscally responsible city government to guide the organization in a manner that enhances the quality of life that we all enjoy. An indication that our team, led by manager Mark Devon, is doing this right is the strong financial health of our city, and it is very strong. Ensuring the ongoing financial health of Arvada and our ability to provide the core services I've discussed this morning requires a long-term strategic view that can help us navigate the peaks and valleys of the economy. Our 10-year modeling, which we really rely upon, constantly takes these economic changes into account. We look at changes in the economy. We look at new demands for money, such as Red Rocks Community College maybe wanting $1 million, things like that. We put all that into our modeling, into our formulas, so that we can look at these things and so that we can maintain the long-range viability of our community. And it's very important to do so that we can maintain our reserves and also maintain that AAA bond rating, which, as I've said in the past, is much better than the federal government has. These bond ratings matter. They have allowed Arvada to secure a lower than expected interest rate on the bonds for the 3F projects. We're going to save, because of that AAA bond rating, over $4.5 million in interest. That's savings to each and every one of us. Our finance department in 2018 again received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. That's 34 years in a row that that's been received, and it's a real good indication that we have people who are looking over our finances and making sure we're doing it right. Across the organization, our team continues their journey to becoming a high-performing, highly efficient workforce using the Baldrige Performance Excellence Framework as a guide. Arvada was again recognized in 2018 as a top workplace in the metropolitan area. Innovate, a national survey conducted by Government Magazine, said that we are a high-performing city. Now today I have shared some of the benefits of the city listening to our community, and we will grow that by implementing a community communication and engagement strategy. The 2020 census is coming up, and it's going to be very important that every citizen is counted and that we get our fair representation and our fair share of federal dollars because of that. But it's also going to be an opportunity for us to use to connect our neighbors to each other and to their community. We'll again use our citizen survey in 2019 as one of our tools to hear what you think and to get your feedback. But in addition to that, we'll follow up with an online version of Speak Up Arvada, so everyone will have an opportunity to participate. Please chime in. We want to hear from you. Now, we recognize that there are challenges ahead to achieving our shared vision for Arvada. We have to work collaboratively. We want to address the challenges of homelessness in our community. We want to continue to smartly manage growth so it enhances the quality of life that we all enjoy. And we have to continually monitor and watch what's going on with the economy locally, regionally, and nationally so that we can be nimble to maintain the great financial situation that we are in. I hope that you can see, as I do, that we are continuing to move forward with the city's mission, to dream big and deliver, because it is so very important. We want to continue to listen to all of you. We want to hear your input. We want to be able to continue to keep Arvada the special place that it is and make it even better. It's such an important part of what makes us so special, and our core priorities: delivering a safe community, reliable infrastructure, economic development, a vibrant community and neighborhoods, and organizational effectiveness are our 5 priorities to get there, and we're achieving this together. We're all pulling, just as your city council does, pulling together, keeping this ship of state in the right direction. So with that, I am so pleased to say that the state of the city of Arvada remains excellent and will be into the future. Thank you so very much.